Do you love Chardonnay or hate it? I know some people who absolutely hated Chardonnay and now love it. Do you know why? Because they were drinking the wrong style Chardonnay for their particular palates. I'm going to show you the secret why, and it's important to note their taste buds never changed. I'm really excited about this grape. Come on, let's take a look at it. Hey there, Posse. I'm Pierre, and welcome to Asti Wine Consultants. As we're learning more about wine together, I put together a series focusing on a category of grape called noble grapes. Out of over 10,000 wine grapes in the world, there are only 18 that are called noble grapes. 9 of them are white and 9 of them are red. Noble grapes are the very backbone of the wine industry, and most people have never heard of half of them. If you try and taste these 18 noble grapes, I'll certify you as an Asti Wine Noble Grape aficionado or connoisseur. More on that will be available to you at the end of the video and in the description. Today we're talking about the white wine that virtually everybody knows something about and drinks on a relatively regular basis, Chardonnay. We're going to learn 5 key things about this noble grape. Number 1, a bit of trivia. Number 2, where it's from. Number 3, the basics of Chardonnay. Number 4, its taste profile. And number 5, some suggested food pairings. Are you ready to get started? Number 1, general trivia. The event that put U.S. wine on the international map, especially California Chardonnay, was the Paris wine tasting of 1976. Also known as the Judgment of Paris. This was a nose-to-nose competition, the US versus France's best wines. There were 2 categories, Chardonnay from both countries and France's Red Bordeaux versus California's Cabs. California in both categories won both competitions hands down. It was devastating to the French. After winning in France, Chardonnay was way beyond successful in the United States. By the 1990s, there was actually a backlash called the ABC movement. Anything but Chardonnay. It had become actually that mainstream. New wine drinkers began to flood the market. This encouraged much experimentation with different expressions of Chardonnay, including more generous oak, vanilla, and often traces of sweetness. Some of these new styles are even now popular. Number 2, where it grows. Like I said, France and the US are the key players. More specifically, the most highly regarded expressions of the varietal come from Burgundy, France and California. Here you see that approximately 80% of the global market comes from those 2 nations. France at 45% and the US at 35%. There's also a nice representation from Italy, Australia, New Zealand, and parts of South Africa. However, for this video, because of their market dominance, we're going to focus mostly on the French and California Chardonnay. How are you doing there? Is this information helpful? If it is, write Chard in the comments below. Number 3. The basics of Chardonnay. The thing that Americans find confusing and keep them from buying some of the best Chardonnays in the world is that they don't know what we don't know. In the US, Chardonnay is called Chardonnay. In France, they don't name the wines by the grape or varietal. They name it after a person or a place. If you see the word or name Burgundy on the bottle and the wine is white, it's a Chardonnay. Often there are even more specific than that. Here are 4 areas in Burgundy that you'll see on the bottle: Bourgogne Blanc, Chablis, Maconnais, and Côtes de Beaune. If you see those on those names, it's a Chardonnay. Describing the flavors of Chardonnay is not easy. The varietal's fruit and their fruit flavors are relatively flavor neutral. Chardonnay has become known as the winemaker's grape or the winemaker's wine because it's the winemaking technique that brings the aromatic and complexity to the wine. The techniques in fermentation and aging include oak aging, no oak, and MLF. I'll explain what that is in a second. Also, climate plays a major role in dictating the fruit's flavors. Broadly speaking, warm regions give tropical notes, temperate climates bring stone fruits, and cooler climates lean towards maybe green apples, star fruit, and white blossoms. We'll get into this in a little bit more detail in just a second. How are you doing there? Is this information making sense? If it is, write Chard or Chardonnay in the comments below. Number 4, taste profile. I'm going to throw a whole lot at you right now, but not to worry. I'm going to sort of summarize it and simplify it at the very end of this video. If you're one of the people that absolutely hates Chardonnay, what I've found is that many Chardonnays taste like you've got a toasty, buttery cheek full of oak chips stuffed in your mouth, and you just don't like the taste. Some people absolutely love that taste, however. A number of us in the industry laugh about this because that oaky, buttery taste profile is like crack cocaine to those who love it. They just can't get enough of it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, and you'll see on the chart, the 3 basic taste profiles are with oak, without oak, and MLF. Now, you may be asking, what the heck is MLF? In the lower portion of the chart, you'll see MLF, which is malolactic fermentation. This is a process where the tart tasting malic acid in the grape is converted to softer tasting lactic acid. It imparts a softer, rounder mouthfeel and buttery, sort of biscuity aromas and flavors. Look along the line of oak aging. The fermentation and or maturation in oak barrels has been the most popular expression. Under taste profile, oak aging contributes a variety of flavors. At the bottom of the chart, oak aging or barrel fermentation with MLF, you'll find a fuller, more buttery expression. Most of what we see coming out of California today is oaky, from big oak bombs to lightly or slightly oaky. France's regions of Côtes de Beaune is the creme de creme of white burgundies. They're typically rich, fleshy yellow apple and star fruit flavors with maybe undertones of truffle, hazelnuts, and vanilla. Let's take a look at no oak or unoaked Chardonnay. Now, actually, sometimes this is labeled as naked. This is also known as being aged in inert vessels. This aging process produces neutral, occasionally apple-scented wines with a nice crisp acidity and mineral tones. Unoaked Chard is becoming increasingly popular. The reason for this is that it allows the fruit to speak for itself. Some U.S. producers are offering unoaked Chardonnays. It will actually say that on the bottle. You'll find plenty of unoaked coming out of France. Now, as I mentioned earlier, be on the lookout for the words Bourgogne Blanc, Chablis, and Maconnais. Check out the taste profile on the unoaked portion of the chart. You'll see there what the French wines really have to offer. Are you doing okay? Now, I'll simplify all this in just a second, but first, climate also plays a major role in dictating the fruit flavors. You might want to pause the video if you need to. Follow along on the climate chart. Generally speaking, warmer regions tend to give more tropical styles. Temperate zones create wine with a different profile. the very coolest vineyards lean towards a more refreshing and zesty expression. Here's the simplest way to figure out this Chardonnay thing. Unoaked or oaked? France or the US? Unoaked, refreshing and zesty. Oaked, fuller, less acidity, more buttery. In very general terms, the simplest of all this is Burgundy equals unoaked. California equals oaked. Tell you what, let me know what you like and find as you experiment and have fun figuring this whole thing out. Now, very quickly, food pairings. The key is, are you drinking an oaked or unoaked Chardonnay? Now, to maximize your taste, be aware of the sauces or lack of sauces in your food. Now, with unoaked Chardonnay, fish, chicken dishes, salmon, fajitas, frittatas, salads, crab cakes, chicken Dijon, oysters, pork, all that works really well with it. For oaky chards, they'll go better with richer cream sauces such as salmon with cream sauce, pork or shrimp with a cream sauce. Yeah, I think you get the idea. Folks, remember, you can get 1 or 2 Asti Wine Consultants Noble Wine certifications. Either the aficionado, once you have 6 of the noble wines under your belt, or the connoisseur certification, once you've completed all 18 of the noble wines. Now, for either, you'll also need to watch the introductory episode. There's more information available in the description below. Well, there you have it. Everything you need to know about the Noble Grape Chardonnay. Cheers. Hey Posse, thanks so much for investing the time to watch this video. I trust it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And please consider hitting subscribe. Also, click here to check out our new online shop. We have a great lineup of wine-related items that will help you get the most out of your wine experience. Oh, and be sure to check out these other videos. Until next time, cheers.